Most people follow a financial plan that sounds completely logical. Go to school, get a stable job, work hard for decades, save diligently, invest slowly, retire somewhere around age 65. And on paper, this plan is not wrong. But here is what nobody tells you about it. This plan is designed for security, not freedom, not wealth, security. It's designed to keep you comfortable, not to give you control over your life. And for most people who follow it faithfully, the reward is a retirement that arrives decades after the years they most wanted to enjoy. According to the Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco, the problem is not your effort. The problem is the road you're on. And in the next few minutes, you will learn 5 rules that challenge everything you have been taught about how money and wealth actually work. 5 rules. Each one challenges a deeply held assumption about money, work, and time. Not shortcuts, not get-rich-quick schemes, a fundamentally different way of thinking about how wealth is actually built. The first rule is that there are 3 financial paths available to almost everyone. DeMarco calls them the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. The sidewalk is the path of immediate gratification. People on the sidewalk spend what they earn, often more than they earn. They prioritize today over tomorrow. They have no long-term financial plan, and they remain permanently vulnerable to any unexpected change in income. The slow lane is the path most people are taught to follow. Get a good education, get a steady job, contribute to your retirement account, trust compound interest to do the heavy lifting over 40 years. This path can work. DeMarco does not dismiss it entirely, but the cost is time. You trade the best decades of your life for a payout that arrives when you are old enough to finally slow down. The fast lane is different. It's not about working less. It's about redirecting your effort towards systems that can grow beyond your personal time. Businesses, digital products, platforms, assets that can serve thousands or millions of people simultaneously. The core difference between the paths is this. The sidewalk and the slow lane both exchange time for money. The fast lane uses leverage to multiply the relationship between effort and outcome. And leverage changes everything. The second rule is that wealth requires scale. To understand why, think about how a traditional job works. You offer your time, your employer pays for it. If you work more hours, you earn more. But if you stop working, income stops. Even if you are exceptional at the work and charge a premium rate, there is a hard ceiling. Because time is finite. You cannot work more than 24 hours in a day. And no matter how much you charge per hour, that ceiling never moves. Now, think about a business. A business can serve 1 customer or 1 million. A software product written once can be downloaded 10 million times. A YouTube channel built over months can generate views while the creator sleeps. The relationship between effort and outcome is no longer one-to-one. This is what scale actually means, and it is one of the central reasons some people accumulate wealth rapidly while others with equal talent remain stuck. It's not that one person is smarter or works harder. It's that one person's effort is tied to their time, while the other person's effort has been multiplied by a system that reaches far beyond them. Building for scale does not happen overnight. It requires patience, focus, and often significant work up front. But when it works, the ceiling disappears. The third rule reframes the entire way most people think about effort and reward. Time is your most valuable asset. Most people know this intellectually, but their financial life is structured in a way that completely contradicts it. When your income depends entirely on your time, you are in a trade. You give hours, you receive money, the transaction is direct and personal. But here is the problem with that trade. Money can be rebuilt, time cannot. Every hour you trade is gone permanently, and the hours of your 20s, 30s, and 40s, the hours when you have the most energy, the most capacity, the most potential, are the most expensive hours to spend. Fastlane thinking flips the question entirely. Instead of asking, how do I earn more per hour, it asks, how do I build something that generates income independent of my hours? This requires a different kind of effort. You stop working for immediate payment, you start building for future leverage, creating a product, designing a system, building an audience, documenting a process that runs without you. In the beginning, this feels like working for free. There is no immediate reward. The hours go in, but nothing obvious comes out. But at some point, the asset starts to produce. And then it keeps producing, whether you show up that day or not. That is when time stops being something you trade and starts being something you reclaim. The fourth rule is something most people only learn after losing something significant. Control is critical. A large part of how people try to build income, especially in the early stages, relies on structures they do not own. A job at a company, an account on a platform, a relationship with a single client, a product sold through someone else's marketplace. These can all generate income, but they come with a serious hidden risk. You do not control the rules. A company can eliminate your position. A platform can change its algorithm overnight. A single client can walk away. A marketplace can suspend your account without warning. And when any of these things happen, the income disappears, regardless of how hard you work to build it. DeMarco's argument is that Fastlane entrepreneurs prioritize control. They own their product, they own their pricing, they own their customer relationship, they own their distribution. Not because they're trying to do everything themselves, but because they refuse to let a single external decision determine whether their income survives. Control is not about stubbornness, it's about building something resilient, something that does not collapse the moment someone else changes the terms. Because without control, income is always temporary. With control, it becomes something you can build on. The fifth rule strips wealth creation back to its most fundamental truth. Wealth comes from solving real problems. This sounds simple, and it is, but most people still get it backwards. They start with the question, how do I make money? And that question leads them in the wrong direction, because money is not a thing you pursue directly. Money is a result. It's the result of creating genuine value for other people. The more people your solution reaches, the more acutely their problem is solved. The more completely your value changes someone's situation, the more the money flows back. If there's one idea connecting all 5 of these rules, it's this. Wealth is not built by working harder than everyone else. It's built by working on the right things in the right way. Most people are on a path that was designed for someone else's idea of security, a path that trades decades of prime years for a reward that arrives at the end of them. The fast lane does not reject hard work, it redirects it toward leverage instead of labor, toward scale instead of salary, toward control instead of dependency, toward value instead of volume. None of this is instant. None of it is easy. But the difference between someone who builds financial freedom in 10 years and someone who works 40 years and retires on a fraction of their former income is rarely talent. It's the road they chose to walk. And the good news is that the road is a choice. If you value ideas that challenge how you think about money, time, and business, this channel is built for that. Every video takes one great book and pulls out the ideas that actually change how you think. Subscribe if that's what you're looking for.